This is the Australian Mobile DJ Podcast. In this series, we'll talk to them, get to know them, and learn from them. And here's your host, DJ Bevo.
Here we are, another Australian Mobile DJ Podcast. This is DJ Bevo, and we're catching up with a guy by the name of Ryan Hancock. He's got an amazing company in Brisbane called Ryan Hancock Entertainment. He's also known by DJ Rhino, amongst many other things, and he's joining me on Messenger this morning, or should I say this afternoon. Hello, Ryan.
Hello, Bevo. Thanks for having me here.
You're most welcome. Things have certainly changed in the world of DJing since this nasty little virus has spread worldwide, COVID-19. We were just having a chat before about how it's affected your events so far. So what have you witnessed at your events with regards to like restrictions and so forth?
It's been very tough at the moment. There's big restrictions because I do photo booths as well, so there's a lot of restrictions on photo booths. About a month ago, I thought everything was looking a lot better, but now that things have spiked again in other states, it's still affecting us in Queensland, even though we're doing really well. We're not allowed to kind of have enclosed photo booths. It's got to be an open photo booth. And we're not allowed to use props. I think it depends on the venue and how strict the venue is. But we're restricted with dancing as well. There's some venues that are a lot stricter on it than others. And but you just don't really know until the night because they can't say anything in case they get in trouble legally. But it's the things have been a lot more laid back than what they usually are, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of like Footloose where they banned dancing. You never thought that movie would come to fruition, and look at us now. We're clamping down on what we can and can't do and playing music and telling people to sit down if they start enjoying themselves. Heaven forbid. It's crazy. So let's go back to where it all started for you, mate. DJ Rhino, I believe you got to start at a franchise DJ company like many of us have.
Yeah, I started out working for, I started out working in South Australia. I used to do karaoke nights at a pub in Port Pirie in country South Australia. And then I ended up, Queensland was the place to be if you're a South Australian. There's not much down there. And I came to Queensland one day on the Gold Coast for a holiday and wanted to move here. That was about 13 years ago now. And I started working for Paul Simpson's DJ and Jukebox Hire it was actually. And I worked with them for a while, and then I moved on to a company called Party Sound DJs run by Glenn Ritchie, and Glenn and I are really great friends now. We help each other out a lot. And then I started doing my own work after that. I started out working for myself and got so busy that I needed to take on some employees, and that didn't really work out. Had a lot of people let me down, DJs turning up late, not showing up, calling in sick last minute, and the stress wasn't worth it after a couple of years. So I went back to just doing my own thing, and now I know that it can be a quality job every single time. And yeah, I've never looked back, that's for sure. I went to change my name to Ryan Hancock because it used to be Rhino Entertainment when I had the multi-op, and then I went back to my own. I wanted to just call myself Ryan Hancock, but DJ Rhino was just, everyone knows me as DJ Rhino, so I still had to have DJ Rhino in there.
So you've been doing it for quite some time now. What have you learnt over the years? What are some of the biggest things you've picked up and applied to what you do in your business?
Well, the big thing you've got to learn is to have a big heart for your client and to do everything, like just treat their event with as much love and respect as if it was your own. And I think that's the biggest thing is just have a heart for what you're doing. And don't just hand out your gigs to someone else to do, you know. If someone's booked you in, you've got to do their event. And sometimes people find a more higher paying event and then they'll ditch that gig to go and do something that's worth more money and let someone else down. The biggest thing is just rocking up early and just making sure you're giving your 100%, your whole heart to that client. I think that's the biggest thing in this industry, even more so than being fantastic mixing on decks and things like that. It's just being absolutely committed to your client.
I remember watching your face as you went up and grabbed that award and talking about, I started at the bottom and now I'm here. That will always stick in my memory. What made you say that?
Yeah, that was at the ADIA Awards, and I was absolutely blown away. I wasn't expecting to win that because there's so much amazing competition. Like the year before that, I got about 7th or 8th, and even rating that highly to be the best, that high wedding DJ in Queensland was amazing. And then I was happy with just getting 7th the year before, and then to win the following year, it was definitely a moment I won't forget. And yeah, my speech, I said, I started from the bottom and now I'm here.
Sounds like the beginning of a rap song or something like that, doesn't it? Started from the bottom and now I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've heard it somewhere before.
So you're saying that line isn't original?
Yeah, I can't take credit for that line, unfortunately.
So let's talk about music. When it comes to listening to music in your spare time, what are you into?
Well, it's funny actually because I listen to music so much, and I focus my music taste on what other people would actually want to hear rather than myself. So when I hear songs and think this is a really good song, it's actually, I'm thinking of songs that I can play that will go well, because I'm primarily a wedding DJ, and songs that I just think they'll be perfect for weddings. So I don't actually listen to a lot of the music I listen to is a lot of wedding music, because it's just good to get ideas, and I like to actually listen to new music, listen to playlists that I wouldn't normally listen to, so it educates me to get a good idea of new music to listen to. I'm a bit different with music taste. I grew up listening to Guns N' Roses, Metallica, all of that kind of stuff, but there's no way I'd play that actually at a function. But
I was going to say, do you have a few AC/DC or Guns N' Roses T-shirts still in the closet?
Oh, I do. On my days off, I always, I still love those bands, and when they come to town, I see them every single time. But the music I really like is I think of a moment at a wedding, and I think this song will be perfect for that moment. I love creating soundtracks for a wedding, and so the music I listen to is more for my clients than myself.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like you don't actually stop working your own time. You're kind of busy researching almost what's going to work at a wedding because you love it so much.
Yeah, it doesn't actually feel like work, but when I actually think about the amount of work that I put into my business, it's endless hours, but because I love it so much, it doesn't feel like work. I'm always watching YouTube podcasts on like DJ Network TV and all of the new equipment. I love, like, everyone always asks me for advice on the new latest DJ equipment that comes out, because I'm just obsessed with watching all these videos. And when I go to DJ stores, a lot of the time I've actually got to educate them on their products, because I watch these products reviews so religiously that I've got to correct them when they're telling me specs about what I'm looking at on the shelf. Usually when I go in there, I know what I'm getting.
I notice a lot of people on the forums actually take a lot of inspiration from your setup, because you obviously put a lot of thought and time and effort into what you put out. What are you rocking at the moment? What's your system?
Well, I actually have a really simple setup. I keep it as simple as possible, mainly because I do a photo booth as well. So I spend a lot of time setting up the photo booth, and I kind of can't do that any quicker than I can. But DJ setups, I find there's a lot I can do in my DJ setup to make things easier. I have 3 Evolve 50s that I use for sound there. I use kind of 2 for my main setup, and I've got a wireless setup, which is a Shure It's a Shure in-ear monitoring system, which I send a signal to the other 30-volt 50 at the other end of the venue with. And then I have Pioneer DJ SX2 controller. I've actually purchased it. I got it for half price at a DJ City opening sale, and it's still going solid. And I've had it for so long now, I'm due for an upgrade, but I always think I don't have to care about this controller, because if someone spills a drink on it at a gig, it's not such a big deal as I need a new one anyway. So I'm just running it into the ground at the moment, but it works perfectly and does everything I need it to. And then I have Shure wireless microphone system. And for lighting, I use Show Express DMX software, and I use multiple up lights around the dance floor, and have them all programmed to do DMX shows with. I run virtual DJ straight through Show Express, so it actually picks up the BPMs perfectly with my light show, rather than just having sound active mode on lights. And I love the way lights, when they flash perfectly to the sound of the music, rather than just having the built-in microphone to a light picking up the sound and just going crazy doing annoying effects on people. I like to have a nice steady beat with lighting. I love lighting. I love everything. I love DJ equipment. I've always had a big fascination with it all. It's good fun.
I think the only thing you may have missed there is something you did a presentation on at Beat Mix a couple of years ago, and that was Gobo projection onto the dance floor. But unlike most DJs that use like a actual light Gobo projection, you use a video projector.
Yeah, I love monograms. I used to love creating Gobos many years ago, and then I realized I wondered why people don't use a video projector, because it would be so much easier. And I started doing it, and then I noticed everyone else started doing it at the same time. Some of the people caught on. And at the moment I use a JVC 5000 lumens projector. It's amazing brightness, and it does make beautiful monograms. And I do them so easily that I can do them at quite an affordable price, because there's not much work that goes into it. It's no harder than just setting up another DJ light. It's just a matter of I quickly get onto a program, which is Canva. Well, it's an online program called canva.com, and then I just make up a design. I do it actually while I'm setting up. There's no work before the event. It takes me probably an extra 5 minutes to make the design, and probably 10 minutes to set up the light. So it's a nice little add-on.
Yeah, it's very effective. It's certainly, how would you say it? It makes your setup look a lot more professional than the common DJ, I guess you could say. It's quite elegant. It's obviously a selling point for you as well.
It personalizes the function room, and it makes it theirs. Having their names up on the wall like that, it's their room for that night. It's like spray painting your initials on the wall, but it's a lot easier to clean off.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, let's talk about you. You're a single man. Obviously, if you were to get married, which DJ would you book for your wedding, or would you be too fussy and want to do it yourself?
Well, I've actually thought about this, and it's a tough one, but the person who I would book for my wedding is somebody who I know likes to invest everything they have into their business and will care for my wedding as much as I do. And there's not many companies that really do, but since you put me on the spot, I think I would say Glenn McKay from G&M Event Group. I reckon I'd be booking him in.
There you go, Glenn. You've got the dibs on Ryan Hancock's wedding. He just needs to find a lady first.
Yeah, don't hold your breath. It might be a while.
Ryan, thank you so much for talking to us on the Australian Mobile DJ podcast. How do we get in touch if we want to find out more about you and your company?
My website is www.rhinoentertainment.net. I also have a great Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Brisbane DJ Hire. I also have a phone number. Fancy that. It's 0488 744 which is actually 0488 Rhino if you spell it out.
Hey, there we go. Branding built into the phone number. And ladies, start ringing now. Thanks for your time, Rhino.
Thanks for having me, Bebo. Thanks for the chat.
You are welcome. Of course, if you want to find out more about this podcast, you can find us on our website, australianmobiledj.com.au. We'll catch you next time.
The Australian Mobile DJ podcast was hosted by DJ Bevo and produced by Matt Fulton Productions.